Checking in again. I'm your host, Aaron Lucas, with Snacks Baby and Lucas Hargrove, the coach, the Reverend. And we are back again for Facts Not Fiction. It's been an interesting week since we debuted. A lot of different things that's been going on, obviously, in the world and the communities. But again, we're mainly here to talk about sports and its impact on our lives, but mainly its impact on the culture and what's going on in the world today. So we're going to touch on a couple topics that I don't want to say it's controversial, but it'll definitely inspire some debate today. But first and foremost, I want to make sure everybody out there continue to be safe, take things serious. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take care of yourselves, check on the elderly, give some big props to all of our superheroes out there, our essential employees, our nurses, our doctors, and everybody out there in there fighting this battle. So just want to make sure I put that in there. And as we get ready to get rocking and rolling with my two studs, my scholars in the hoop world,
let's get it.
I want to go ahead and jump right in because this is something that we've talked off air on, and you know the discussion was pretty good, but now we kind of really get into it. I've been following a lot of young people. Obviously, we all work with young people. We've been around them, and this new transfer portal is something that I have never seen before. We've talked in the past about loyalty to the game, about your teams, where you come from, all the other stuff. And I get the goods of the transfer portal. But I want to know what y'all think about the long-term effects of the transfer portal as far as the culture of hoops, the culture of young people in their quest to have an impact on the game. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So if I go to a school and things aren't going my way or whatever may happen, because, you know, we've been in situations where you get that we may be moving in a different direction or we're recruiting somebody else, and now I want to transfer and I get out and I go, right? The ability for these student athletes now to be able to transfer, which means they're developing no culture at the schools that they're at. They're not getting any stability for themselves. I want to get some insight on what y'all think the long-term ramifications are. Like, what's the impact that's going to have on the players themselves and for hoops?
Well, I think it's very clear. The transfer portal is a necessary evil. And this is why. It's very simple. This is coming, and this is great, and I also want to hear yours and your take on it, because you've sent several kids to school and you have played at a school. And I spent all 4 years at Auburn, and I've seen a lot of situations. So even as a coach now, the transfer portal is necessary, because if a kid don't want to be at the school, who are we to make him stay at the school? That's number one. And number two, coaches have the ability. Scholarships are not 4 years. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Scholarships are not 4 years. So if a coach has the ability to say, you need to find somewhere else to play, the child should have the ability to say, I'm leaving. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's a good situation for the school to have all the power. I also don't think it's a good situation for the student to have all the power. But
is there a balance?
It can be. And if it's the right situation, it will be. I just feel as if you have a child. The only concern I have is if you have a student, they need to learn. Going to school, playing ball, all of this stuff is for them to grow. It's for growth.
Right.
And if you running from every situation, like if you running because you getting 14 minutes and you think you should be getting 16 minutes, that's iffy. But if you're in a situation where you don't feel like the coach cares about you, or if you just don't like the situation, or you're being mistreated, racism is a lot of stuff that comes into play. But if it's in a situation like that, the kid definitely should be able to leave. But I just think it's a necessary evil, because there's no way around it. There's no way around it. personally, as a coach, and you have been a coach longer than I have, as a coach, you got to be crazy to keep a kid that don't want to be there. I don't want no child. I don't want no player on my team that don't want to be there. So kick rocks. I mean, I hope that you can
kick rocks.
Yeah, that's how
Send
I
them
feel.
off on their own.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. If I recruited you here, and I'm doing my job as a coach. Now I'm saying all foul actions out the way. If the coach has not done anything wrong, and I recruited you here, I gave you a scholarship, I want you to play. I'm giving you the opportunity to play. It's just another student or another athlete has beat you out that spot, and you don't want to fight for your spot. You don't want to get better and prove to me that I'm making the wrong decision. If everything is above board and you just want to leave because you got beat out your spot, kick rocks. Bye.
Snacks, tell me what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on it, just thinking about it off the top of my head, I think kids should stay at the school mandatory 2 years. Because I think when you're 18, you make a decision. You take a time to make a decision on where you want to go. Everything ain't gonna go right your first year and nothing in life most of the time. You know what I'm saying? You have a newborn baby, you gotta adjust. You don't know how to do that first year, standing up, waking up, you know what I'm saying? So first year you might not like the coach. Second year, you may love the coach, he's your best friend. You might be a coach on the staff next. So I think my perspective is I think the first 2 years should be mandatory 2 years before you could transfer. Then you can take 2 years and go somewhere else. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's getting out of hand. So I think that'll calm it down a little bit. And then, you're going to make a wise decision on where you want to go. Because leaving after 1 year, it's not good for basketball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But on the other end, I think it's a good thing because coaches leave every goddamn year. You know what I'm saying? So on the other end, it's like, leave. But I do think you should stay 2 years because you may not like it the first year. I've been in plenty of situations I didn't like it the first year. You only in school for 6 months anyway, 8, 9 months, whatever the case is. You might not like it. You know what I'm saying? It might not be all basketball. You might not like this girl. You might not, you might not just, school might be hard.
Location.
You know what I'm saying? Location. It's a lot of things that you might not like. So, and the main thing is coaching. I think and that's why kids should be able to lead because coaches, they get a raise. They get a raise, or let's say a coach win his conference tournament, they out. 90% of the time, they gone. I don't give a damn about the kids. I'm sorry, we gone. They might not even tell the kids what they doing. They out. You know what I'm saying? So kids should be able to have that. They ain't got to sit out no goddamn year. You know
let me bring this into.
And I've had that experience.
Yes.
I've had that experience.
Well, let me say this.
Go ahead.
Also, recruiting is a nasty business.
Oh, no
because
question.
we ain't even gonna get into recruiting and everything that goes on with recruiting. Off the simple fact that I'm putting my best foot forward. The guy or girl that you meet on the first date is not that guy or girl.
Yeah,
it's not that guy or girl.
No,
not at all.
So if you got 3 in-home visits from a staff, you go get your official visit from the staff. You've seen these people 4 or 5 times. You go to a game. You've seen these people 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. You don't know this person.
Yeah,
you don't know this person. This coach is putting their best foot forward to get you on campus. Mm-hmm. So when you really meet that person, when you really get to the nitty-gritty and you find out what kind of person that is, that's a better opportunity to decide if you want to be connected with this person or not for 4 years. And that's just it's hard to change that. That's just the nature of the beast.
Let me tell y'all a short story. When I got to the University of South Carolina, I was recruited by Eddie Fogler. Still to this day, my favorite coach all time.
Coach Fogel, shout out to Emma. I was in 5th grade class with Emma.
He watched a lot of basketball, man. I swear every game I went to this year, he was there.
But he's a basketball guru, and I would say the godfather right now. Yeah. Behind the scenes. But recruited by Coach Fogler, Jeff Lebo was also
Leaves.
In the recruiting.
Shout out to my guy Leaves.
Definitely.
Coach Coop, Coach Kraft,
Coach Coop. Coach Barkley, Raider Ball.
Coach Barkley.
So that entire staff was great. But my first experience coming out of being, player of the year, accolades, all these different things. My first practice on campus, I got cursed out so bad. I mean, to the point where he was like, get the F out my gym.
You ain't never
Go
seen that
home.
guy before.
Never had that experience. Now,
Yeah.
I was coached hard in high school. My AAU coaches were tough. I played under Carl Williams, Coach Gates, Zeke Washington, guys like that who were very tough coaches in AAU. So I was accustomed to being coached hard. But when I got there and got cursed out, sent home, I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Sent out of practice, I had to evaluate some things.
Coming from being the all-state player that you were, coming from being 1,000, I don't know how many, you had 1,500, something like that, close to the highest score at Northeast, I believe. Coming from that, you ran into a buzzsaw.
I ran into a buzzsaw, but I overcame it because, like you said before, I was willing to work.
Was Fogle there all 4 years?
Which leads me to the next thing. He was there for 3 years. Now, he had some other stuff that was going on that caused him to, make his departure. But we were in the NIT my junior year. We had a terrible first season. We were building, made it to the NIT, played UConn, Karan Butler and that squad up in Stores. We lost, right? But the week prior, or maybe a couple practice prior to that, coach told us he was leaving. So our whole mindsets at that point was like, man,
On something else.
I don't even want to be here. And I seriously contemplated transferring. It was either, and this, people laugh to this day, it was either playing football for South Carolina or transferring.
Because coach was leaving.
Because the coach that came in my house, sold me the program, built the relationship, after getting cursed out, my respect level jumped. Right? So then I get to, I'm leaving. And it wasn't because we were losing, we were bad, or we doing, we were grown. We were starting to rebuild. And then now you're gone. In today's generation, I think that's a no-brainer. These kids will run from that so fast. But my point is,
and you're dealing with the unknown.
There's there's a lot of unknowns in that situation, but at that point, I was in that unknown.
Did he give you an explanation why he left? Or he just like, I'm leaving?
Well, I mean, we knew, and I don't want to get into it.
But y'all knew before.
We knew
y'all know
before
a month before he told y'all. Or
No. We knew
mentally. I'm saying like you was checked out.
No. We were all in until the week we were going up to play UConn. And that's when he told us. Now, obviously we were shocked and everything else, but for us that were trying to build and grow and come under this new regime, we had a lot of things to think about. And I was in that unknown of, do I test the waters and try to go somewhere else? Do I try to, do this whole thing all over again and just rebuild, or do I stick it out?
I got another question for you.
My Oak Hill Northeast situation was the same.
In this time frame, when you're in college, your coach leaves.
Right.
Who is in your ear? Who is helping you make this decision? Because I think that today, it's too many people in the kid's head. You got an AAU coach, you got a regular high school coach, you got a mama and a daddy probably, you got a cousin, you got uncles, you got 50 million people in the kid's head. So who was in your head? That's what I want to know. Who was in your head during this time frame?
Nobody. Because,
already year 3, you was already.
Yeah, I mean, it's year 3. I didn't have a camp, so to speak. I didn't have a whole crew rolling with me. The only people that I looked up to that I would talk to just about the game in general, not necessarily about that situations, were, your Marcus Saxons, the Kerry Riches, BJ Mackey, those guys that been through the process. JoJo English, Larry Davis, all the guys that came before me. But it was never about should you go or should you stay, because the loyalty, the brotherhood itself was like, nah, we gonna stick this out.
No matter who the coach is.
Right. Because we make what it is. We are what the program is. So regardless of what coach comes in or out, it's up to us to uphold that. Because when these coaches leave, we still alumni. We still graduates of the university. We still the ones that are face and the representation of what happened. So, you know, I look at those situations again. The Oak Hill situation was the same thing. I had a lot of loyalty to Northeast. There was some unfinished business I felt, and you know,
For those of y'all who don't know, Aaron went to Richland Northeast High School and had an opportunity to play for Oak Hill, one of the most prestigious and acclaimed high school basketball programs in the country, and he had to make a decision.
Well, that decision, and let me short story, and then we'll move on to the next.
Next topic. You get to that. How does that, by you staying, just for people who think about transferring, for you staying, does that help you in life right now? It's like, man, I'm gonna stick through anything, or you know what I'm saying, or I could play through adversity, or I could.
Well,
I got to,
and I'll tie that in because the Oak Hill situation was, I never really took basketball serious. I was a football guy and was kind of put in a situation where basketball was my only option. So not having those people in your camp and in your ear to be like, you know, you can really do something with this. You know, you got to get your grades right. You got to do this. I just kind of did what I need to do so I could play. And so the Oak Hill thing came about because I needed the grades in order to be able to get opportunities to go. So I went to Oak Hill summer of '97. And, you know, you got Rick Pitino there, Tubby Smith, Eddie Fogel, all these guys are coming in our workouts and practices every day. But there was still something in me that was like, we didn't win state '97.
I didn't know that, though.
We were one of the top.
We
were the top team in the state.
Big.
And it was
I'm
just
saying,
like
I didn't know you was at Oak Hill.
Rich
he
Adams
was there.
Rich Adams was on that team with you, right?
Rich Adams was a freshman that summer. So
Mercer?
him and Lat, all of those. So I had something in me that was like, I want to put Northeast on the map. Like I was all gun ho.
And you had
but
more
I
of a
didn't have
loyalty to your high school.
to
back
my
then.
high school and what I wanted to imprint on the high school. Then going to a nationally acclaimed program, having an opportunity of winning a national championship, not a state championship.
So what?
But I didn't have the people in my ear to be like, what are you thinking about? Like, you need to
It was a
get
solo
up out of
decision.
here. Yeah.
Let me jump in. I want to speak to the question that you asked. You spoke about how did that affect you nowadays?
Right now, like because things change every day now. You see, like we get older, you ain't work no job yet. You don't see different managers and different. You know what I'm saying?
So,
but how does it affect you
when
now?
when you take that in account of going back to Northeast, putting everything I had into it at that point, because I sold out to it. I gotta give everything I have. Getting injured, separate my shoulder 3 weeks before playoffs, not accomplishing the goal, but I felt in my heart I made the right decision. Now later on, I'm like, man, what was you thinking about? You should have went to Oak Hill and got better. Hindsight. But at the time, I was like, you know what? Be who you are, stick it out, put your imprint on it, and that was it. I get to Carolina.
Did y'all win that year?
No, we were out in third round.
Because,
and not saying it was all me, our team was really good. We had B-Lat, Corey Ward.
It's really hard to win a state championship.
Richard Adams. So we had a lot of good talent on that team.
In the 90s.
But we didn't end up getting it done. Get to Carolina, go through that situation where my coach leaves and I got to
I hate to cut you off. I hate to cut you off. But I asked a real question.
Yeah.
So did you after the season? It's like, damn, I should have went to Oak Hill.
Are you happy with the results?
Yeah, like I should have went to Oak Hill. I ain't win. I came back to Northeast only to win the state, put my school on. So it's like, damn, I should have.
To answer that question,
like last game of the season,
I was still fine.
Okay.
Because it was a different era. I couldn't keep up with Oak Hill like kids can keep up now. Like if I would have kept track, and I talked to Coach Smith from time to time, and he was like, if you would have stayed, we had a good chance to win the national championship. And because I'm older now, I understand what that means. I'm like, dang. But anyway, getting to Carolina, it was like I had that same idea. It was play football, transfer, and play basketball somewhere else. But in my mind, I had that same idea of I want to put the home team, the city, back on the map. I want to put my stamp,
loyalty,
and do what I needed to do and move forward. And that's always been me from that point on is if I'm going through a rough patch or if I'm, coming back from overseas, I got to figure out how to get a job, learn how to do all these things. I got to figure it out.
So you mad that so being that you did that, so dudes who leave, you like, man, shit, you shouldn't. Or do you feel that way?
No, I understand people's situations.
I got a story need to be told.
I understand people's situations, and because I've been through that process. Luke, you've been through that process of where you had you have conversations with coaches, and they'll flat out put it on the table. Look, you either need to get better, or you're going to get replaced, and now you got to make your decision.
And I respect the coach who do that.
Yeah. So I get it. Yeah. I get why kids transfer. The original question was more so because they have the ability and it's so commonplace now, does it impact it's kind of like the one and done conversation we had in the first episode does it overall impact the culture of basketball? Because there's no loyalty. And I understand you got to do for self, like you said. I got to do me. And I get it. But where does the brand, how do you build, the fan base builds the brand where kids want to go? Everybody loves North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky because there's a brand in place. These kids go there, they buy into what the brand is.
Not necessarily what's good for them.
Not necessarily what's good for them,
I think that part
but
of the
it's
game
the
changed,
brand.
though. I think the brand don't matter no more.
Before we go into a different topic, I got a story I want to share.
Okay.
This is a dear story to my heart. Every team I coach, I tell them this. And it's directly related. You're talking about the transfer portal, and you're talking about the decision to leave or not leave. How does it affect you in everyday life, correct? This is my story. You're talking to a guy who was a 4A Player of the Year in South Carolina, 2006. And more than that, just a popular kid. Everybody knew it. Northeast was the history of Northeast is that. Yeah, you know what time that is. We got. Come on,
y'all ain't got banners though. Y'all got good
players.
I ain't got no banners though.
It's hard to win.
Y'all ain't got no banners. We got one.
Does Fort won the championship?
Anyway,
I'm just saying, y'all.
Does Fort won one?
No, they ain't win. But I'm just saying,
we went.
They had one of the.
You
best
was acting
players.
like y'all Keenan now. Y'all a good program.
Keenan wouldn't have the tradition they have had they been in 4A all those years.
I mean, they can't be.
We ain't getting on that. Let me tell you.
But I just had to check you like y'all was like that.
They still.
Keenan is not. Keenan is excellent. I got great friends that went to Keenan.
No question.
And stuff. Keenan is excellent. But we talking about 1A, 2A, and 3A, and 4A. That stuff matters.
I mean, we gonna get off the subject, but I didn't want you to write that out.
We don't want to take that out. But Keenan should be a 4A school.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, it should be. It should be a 4A
Let
school.
me clarify.
I mean, basketball.
Hold on, let me clarify. I'm not saying Keenan. First of all, Coach Norris is one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in South Carolina. Might be the greatest.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Keenan is good or bad or indifferent. I'm saying if Keenan had been a 4A school through all those years, I think things would have been different. That's all I'm saying. Back to my story.
It would have made 4A basketball even better.
Okay, or put Dutch Fort in 2. What was Keenan back then? 2A. Put Dutch Fort in 2A. Put Northeast in 2A.
But hold up.
You can't put certain teams.
Let's make sure.
That's what I'm saying. Let's not go
make
to that
sure we
argument.
get back to the story. But I do want to throw in David Baker and Antoine Quattlebaum was probably the best two players to come out of Dutch Fort. Antoine Quattlebaum.
Oh yeah, Antoine Quattlebaum was like that.
By far,
That's my guy.
My guy,
most
Murphy,
talented athletes.
Murphy was a 4-year
Murphy Holloway
player in the SEC.
was the truth,
But
no question.
Antoine Quattlebaum played
you don't
full
know who
sport.
Antoine
He was like that.
Quattlebaum.
Yeah.
Auburn, I come from killing in high school, winning all these awards in high school. I get to Auburn, I'm not playing. I'm on the bench, and we struggling. That's what made it worse. I can understand if we was number 1 in the country, winning everything, we losing. And I'm on the bench. I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, why not give me a shot? But I really wasn't doing what I needed to be doing. I really wasn't putting in extra work. I really wasn't focused the whole time, my freshman year, as many kids aren't. And what ended up happening was I had a reality check. I could have said, coach not doing right and transferred. I could have said, bump this school and transferred. But what happened to me at Auburn was I went from a child to a man. And when you sit down and have that reality check with yourself and you ask yourself why you're not playing and you correct those things, I went on to start sophomore, junior, senior year, averaged a good amount of points, rebounds, all this stuff. Went on to play professionally for 5 years. But the catalyst to all that was I sat down, I had a talk with John Cooper, and he said, look, you're not doing this. You think you're doing this. You think you're working hard. You think you're doing this. Just going into the gym and shooting 100 free throws or complaining about your coach to your mom or dad or something like that, that's not doing what you need to be doing. When you actually find somebody to help you work you out, looking at film, you watching film, you actually doing things that are making you a better basketball player and getting yourself more playing time, that's what you can do to turn around. But I attribute that situation in my life to where I am now as far as my maturity, as far as my experiences, the decision-making process that I have now is I'm not a real emotional guy as far as making bad decisions off of emotions. And I could have transferred, and I don't know what could have happened. Plenty of schools would have took me. I could have came back home to South Carolina. Could have went to Clemson. Could have went. It was a bunch of places I could have went. But I stayed at Auburn, and I think that showed me not only resilience, but just gave me the character to stick through things. And I think that boded well for me in life. And I think that could help a lot of student athletes. I think they're transferring for no reason. And
because it's not going their way.
Their way. And not all. I said that at the beginning of the episode. A lot of kids are transferring for the right reasons. Yeah, but a lot of kids are transferring for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I agree.
And you gotta have it's how you built. Yeah. How you built. A lot of kids soft because nobody's ever been real with them. You know, and the fact of it is we have a lot of single parent households. The parents ain't there to say this or that. We got a lot of coaches, high school coaches, too soft to say what needs to be said. Yeah. And a lot of these kids slipping through the cracks when they haven't had tough love. When you get to college, I mean, they gonna, especially you talking about a serious basketball program somewhere, they gonna tell you the truth. And you got to be able to handle that truth.
They're going to give you life straight up.
I think you should be able to transfer twice, no more than twice. And if you're a senior, graduating senior, you should have an opportunity to transfer.
Man.
But you should transfer, you should have 2 times.
If they had grad transfers back in the day,
I think you should be able to.
Which is a little complicated to me because
but you can't transfer 3 times in 4 years.
You got 5 years to play, right? You got 5 years to play.
Yeah.
I gotta look this up in the rules. You got 5 years to play. So you go your 4 years to school, you graduate, and you can transfer and play 1 more year. Yeah. How do y'all feel about that?
I think for me, I think it's a good option for a number of reasons. One is, and I'll cut it off so we can get to the next topic.
Can you stay at the same school?
No. You got to do that 4 at that one institution, and then you have transfer. I think it's good for the student athlete side because, and I tell a lot of kids that I work with now, if you got to look at the big picture, and I've had talks with several coaches that have come in the state to try to recruit kids, and my conversation with them is always, we need to figure out what this young person wants to do after the game is over.
Yeah.
If it's coaching, if it's whatever it may be. So now we can set a path. Transfer to another school, keep putting in the work, use that same love and passion that you have for the game, get another degree. Put yourself in a position where you can meet coaches and network yourself. So now you got 2 schools, under your belt that you can network and possibly parlay that into something else.
It's all about networking.
Absolutely.
I think that, and on the back end, I think transferring is good for some kids. And change is good. Like, I'm going to give you an example. Right now, today, I know a kid that transferred 3 times in 3 years. But it's helped. Some kids, number one thing about transfer, a lot of kids under-recruited. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of kids get hurt freshman year, might get hurt senior year in high school. Now you under-recruited. Now you go to a school D2 that you might not know. Now I'm transferring, or a small D1, but you a D1 player, but you got hurt. Right. So Chavez Goodwin. Don't know him personally, but I know him, watched him play. Good kid. First year went to College of Charleston.
Yep.
Second year, he transferred. Second year, he went playing right now. Second year, he went to Wofford. They went to the finals this year, played B.J. Mackey, them East
Shout
Tennessee
out
State.
to Coach McCauley and Coach Young. Great job with that program.
East Tennessee State had not back okay season. Conference tournament blew up, balled out, transferred again. Right now, put his name in the portal 2 weeks ago. 15 offers, everybody want him. Now he going to Southern California. Transferred 3 times in 3 years, 3 different schools, but it's helping him get to another level, and maybe he might be a pro after he leaves.
So you saying that first year was his interview?
I'm saying his first year, he got under-recruited maybe.
I'll disagree to this
Or he got coached up to be better.
I think there are 2 things that go into play with the recruiting process. One is it's a business, it's a sale. And once you get into the actual, you don't know anything until you actually get there and you get into the system.
Yeah.
Whether you know, all right, this is for me or not.
Facts Not Fiction, episode 2. We're going to switch to my personal favorite segment. Is he like that? Now, this is going to be controversial, and I was excited to talk to these guys about this. And my first is he like that player is a guy that a lot of people like, but I just don't see it. I want to talk about Philadelphia 76ers guard/forward Ben Simmons. Is he like that? Before I give my take on it, Snacks, is he like that?
Yeah.
Can you expand, please?
I think he like that because he ain't even 25 yet. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe been in the league, 4 years, 5 years? But he ain't 25 yet. And I think that some players don't get good till they 28, 29. Or they might get traded and go to another team. So, yeah, he averaging what? Maybe 19, 20, and
we know the season was a little awkward. 16.7 points and 7.8 rebounds, 8.2 assists.
So 16,
16,
7,
7, and 8.
I think that's a great line. You know what I'm saying? I think he like that. He different, and he playing the true point guard. No coach ever told him to go get buckets. So maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's somebody he need. If he go with a LeBron say, man, here you go. Man, this your world, man. I need you to score 25. And now he got Embiid, but he a winner. Some winners don't score all the time. It's Kyle Lowry ain't never averaged 25. He a good player, but you know what I'm saying? Some people, everybody can't average 20. Now, because you ain't averaging 20, 25, I mean you ain't good. So Ben Simmons like that because he's different. Ain't no other Ben Simmons in the NBA.
Aaron Lucas.
No. I don't think he's like that. I think he's very unique because having a 6'10" point forward is you don't see that every day.
Yeah.
But
he's a unicorn.
Until he has the ability to actually shoot the ball confidently. I don't mean he has to be, a consistent shooter per se, because his deal is more of a mechanical thing.
Yeah.
But until he displays the confidence to actually shoot the ball, that 16, 7, and 8 will be 16, 7, and 8 throughout, and then it'll dwindle down because, of course, athleticism will go away. If you don't have the athleticism that you possess now and you don't possess the ability or the confidence to shoot the basketball, they won't get over the hump until he has the ability, because they lost J.J. Redick.
True.
That's a huge loss for their team.
Ben Simmons was born in 1996.
96, so he is
24, 25.
Come on.
24.
I can't say a player with his talent level not like that till he 28, 29. If he haven't been injured, like I could say a lot of players. Oladipo took 5 years to become a player.
Is
Paul
Ben Simmons like that?
He said yes.
Is Ben Simmons
No.
like that? I don't think he is. And the basketball world and basketball media gets caught up too much on shiny things. And I think he's a shiny thing. I think is he leading the team to a championship? Absolutely not.
Who has?
Is he
Who
a bunch
has?
of people?
Is
he leading a team to a deep playoff
It's
run?
only 8 teams.
Absolutely not.
You know what it is? Only 4 or 5 teams that been to the championship in the last 9 years?
He can't shoot.
I'm saying there's a lot of teams that have been to the championship.
Don't be fooled. He has a high field goal percentage, which is 57 or 58, I think, because all of his shots that he gets are layups and dunks. He can't shoot. He doesn't have a solid jumper. I don't think he's a phenomenal ball handler. Is he long? Yes. Does he have the ability to become a great player? Potential? Out of this world. But right now, as of today, as of these last couple seasons that I've seen, including this season, he's not like that. He's just not a guy that I'm going to get to win me a series.
He was, I think when you talk about shiny things, he was what Giannis was supposed to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he was supposed to be Giannis before Giannis became Giannis.
I was going to say that.
Correct. All right.
But I think
very
like
unique, unicorn,
if you
freak athlete.
Let's say he stayed in college 4 years, and this is his second year in the league, and he's 23, 24 years old. We wouldn't be having this comment. We'd be like, oh my God, Ben Simmons like that. He second year in the league, he averaging 22 and
he got a bonus year too, because he was rookie of the year.
We'd all be drunk. We can't talk about.
I agree.
We can't talk about if. I mean, the fact of the matter is, he's 16 or 17 or whatever I said, 16 or 17 points, 7 and 8 assists, 7 and 8 rebounds. That's not gonna get it done for me. For what people are hyping him up to be, that's not gonna.
I agree.
I'm not a numbers guy. Let's get that understood. Number one, I'm not a numbers guy. Where I come from, heart matters. Defense rarely shows up in the stat book, but I just don't feel like he's like that. That's my opinion. It is what it is. He spent most of his career in Houston and Dallas. He's been with Memphis for a couple years. This current season, he played with Atlanta. Is Chandler Parsons like that?
Nah, he's not like that. College, he was great though. Injury prone.
He had 3 or 4 years where he averaged 15. He averaged in 2012 he averaged 15 for Houston. 2013 he averaged 16 for Houston. In 2014 he averaged 15 for Dallas. The last 2 years, this year he's averaged 2.8 points.
I think his knees got to him. You know what I'm saying? He had injuries and his career just went downhill from there. I think he lost love for the game coming off the bench. He was always a star, so I think that kind of played an effect. So, was he like that? He was decent, but he just fizzled out in the league. You know what I'm saying? So,
a no for happens. You.
No.
Luke,
I'm gonna say no because of reality. Injury plague. I wasn't really sold on him. He reminded me a lot of Mike Miller.
True.
Because Mike Miller, people don't realize Mike Miller was a problem.
He was a little bit more athletic.
Mike Miller was like that.
No. I'm saying, but I played against him. He handled the ball. He shot the ball. He did everything. Mike Miller was a serious problem in college. Chandler Parsons reminded me a lot of Mike Miller. And then he came to the league, showed the same abilities at Memphis. I mean, where did he start off?
Memphis?
Yeah, he
started off in Memphis?
I think he started
Mike
off
Miller,
in
Memphis,
Houston. 2011, he was in Houston. I played against him 2009 and 2010. He was at Florida. I was at Auburn. He was a killer in college. Now, he was a Larry Bird type killer. He wasn't between the legs, behind the back, spin move in the corner.
Right.
But at the end of the game, he got 20.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Mike Miller was in the same mode, and when they both went to the league, it was the same thing. Now Mike benefited because he didn't get injured, and he developed that one skill set. Chandler got injured, and it just never kind of manifested itself. So I don't think he's like that. I think he had a lot of potential, but
I'm gonna go with absolutely not. He's not like that. And shout out to Florida, shout out to Billy Donovan and all them boys. I think what Chandler Parsons is something that happens often. We'll get back to this on the next Is He Like That segment, but a lot of guys in the league are there because they were placed in the right situation at the right time and they knew the right people.
Well, folks, we are wrapping up episode 2 on Facts Not Fiction. We are just, again, 3 guys in a barbershop. I'm Aaron Lucas, Snacks Baby, Coach
Pontiac,
Reverend
South Carolina, baby.
Lucas Hargrove. And again,
Town.
this is Facts Not Fiction for the culture.